we do these classes every Monday and Thursday, and we had a break because I was in retreat, but now the last 3 classes we've been able to do. It looks like we can continue. So Monday, Thursday night, 6 to 8. These classes are designed for people that have the inclination to inquire and practice the Dharma. And they do that in order to create in themselves insight. And that insight is into their true wisdom nature, we call natural mind. So we have 2 aspects of our consciousness: natural mind and ordinary mind. Now on this planet, that's the 2 kinds of human beings that exist here. Most of the 7.5 billion people, humans, are ordinary mind. Then a few, maybe a few thousand, practice mindfulness to gain an extraordinary realization of their natural mind. When we use the word natural, we're referring to what is natural in nature of the world around us. Now this makes Tibetan Buddhist shamanistic Lamaism different from any other religious or shamanistic tradition on the planet today, because that's the only purpose of these practices, is to gain realization of your true nature and have the knowledge about its usefulness and how to apply it, especially under today's worldly conditions. Now, in Tibetan Buddhism, we have what is called taking refuge. And when we take refuge, this means you're taking refuge with your own true nature. You're taking refuge with the support system that's been in place for thousands of years so that you can gain realization and become extraordinary, or what we call a realized or mature human being. And that's the purpose. If you practice religion of any kind, or we say shamanism of any tradition on the planet, that's called worldly practice. And when we use the word worldly, we're referring to a situation that these don't liberate you from your ordinary state. They actually bind you. And that's not what we call gaining freedom or maturity. So when we practice these Tibetan Buddhist methods with the support of the Lama and the symbols that the Lama teaches us in the Sutra and Tantra tradition, you should understand that this is extraordinary, and practicing worldly Dharma or taking refuge with worldly spirits, gods and goddesses and so forth, is ordinary and will not free you from cyclic existence and the suffering that exists in those states. Now, a question was asked today, what is Nungro? Well, Nungro is a series of practices in Tibetan Buddhism in the Sutra and Tantra tradition that help you to quickly liberate yourself from your own egocentric state. But these methods have to be practiced. So Nungro is, they say preliminary practices, but they aren't actually preliminary, they're foundation practices. Foundation for what? To clear all obstacles and misunderstandings so that you can take into your situation these methods of the Sutra and Tantra tradition. And so Nungro is a foundation practice of taking refuge, which is how we start our classes or any practice session, and doing prostrations, which is a powerful form of bringing the body, speech, and mind together, and at the same time developing good health and a powerful body. And the second practice is to purify us of negative impulses or tendencies so those don't become obstacles to our practices, whatever they are. And the third practice of the foundation is making offerings to the three jewels. Now, the three jewels in Tibetan Buddhism is the Lama and all the Lama's symbols of peaceful deities and protectors. They're called sadhanas or pujas. There's 1,000 of these, but you only need one or maybe two to quickly gain realization. And the fourth foundation practice is the most important, and it's called Guru Yoga. Because without the Lama, you cannot gain insight or knowledge about these practices. Only the Lama, man or woman, is trained in these two natures of mind and how to disseminate the information according to one's individual capacity. And that starts with the Dalai Lama right down to me, Lama Tashi, here in Kauai. They call me an interpreter. Interpreter means I can give you understanding of these practices so that you can use them in your worldly situation, and by doing the practices quickly attain realization. Free yourself from the 6 classes of sentient beings. So this is the Nungro text, and this is how I started Tibetan practice, 1977, and it was given to me by my teacher, Kala Rinpoche, and his student, who now is my root Lama, Lama Rinchen in Honolulu, who's been here since that time. In any case, that's what's called Nungro, or foundation practices of the Sutra and Tantra tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. In tonight's class, we're going to practice an ordinary practice, which by its nature, by its practice, helps one to become what is called focus, single-pointed concentration on one thing, in other words, keeping the mind in one place, which is absolutely necessary in any form of meditation or yoga. And at the same time, it involves the mental process of imagination. We use the term visualization. And this is absolutely important because we use letters, numbers, and color codes to symbolically represent whatever element we're working with for healing, or whatever deity yoga we're doing to gain realization. So we're going to do the 5 elements practice tonight, and we're going to use, it's all 5 elements are inseparable: earth, water, fire, air, and space. And since they create everything in the universe, we're going to focus on the water element, which I myself have been using for the last few weeks for healing in my body, the condition in my body, and it works. Here I am. And anybody can do this practice. And it quickly teaches you to focus and use your imagination, but at the same time it causes psychic healing in the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of your being. So it's very holistic. And it also sets, as we said before, a foundation for doing the more spiritual practices of the Lama and the deities the Lama shows us how to use in sutra and tantric practice, which are extraordinary. But to start tonight, we're going to do this lineage prayer of Kala Rinpoche's lineage, which all the lineages of Tibetan Buddhism share, but in the Karma Kagyu lineage, it's its own lineage tradition. And so we're going to read these lineage masters who have been around for 1,000 years to bring them into our present situation, because I can tell you that lamas never go away. They go to heaven. We vow never to go to the arrogant god and goddess realm of the various religions. So these are all the lamas of the Tibetan tradition, starting with your own true nature, which is called the primordial Buddha Vajradhara. So we say this together. Primordial Buddha Vajradhara, Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, exalted Nargaju, Guru Rinpoche Padmasambhava, his consort Bliss Queen Yeshe Soyga, Lord Maitripa, Mahasiddhi Vairupa, Wisdom Dakini Sukhasiddhi, Dalopa, Naropa, Marpa, Nalarepa, Odrapa, Rainbow Body Nanguma, Jumpo Naljor, Majik Lakti Doma, Loyas Kampopa, Mochupa, Mahasiddhi Kingama, Sanjay Namtopa, Tai Situ Rinpoche, Karma Morbu, Lodro Taye, Omniscient Karmapa, Wondrous Kalu Tashi Rinpoche, Lama Tenzin, Lama Karma Rinpoche, and the benefactor Lama Tashi Tundra. Supplicating this direct lineage of the lamas of the Kagyupa, masters of this profound path of Mahabudra, I pray I am following your lineage, grant your blessings so that I may achieve perfect liberation in this lifetime. Revulsion is the fruit of meditation as is taught. To the meditator who is not attached to food, wealth, who cuts the ties to this life, grant your blessings so that I have no desire for honor or gain. Devotion is the head of meditation as is taught. The Lama opens the gate to the treasury of the oral instruction. To this meditator who continually supplicates the Lama, grant your blessing that genuine devotion is born in me. Awareness is the body of meditation. I call it the heart. As is taught, whatever arises is fresh, the essence of realization. To this meditator who rests simply without altering it, grant your blessing so that my meditation is free of conceptual thoughts. The essence of thoughts is Dharmakaya. As is taught, they are nothing whatsoever, but everything arises from them. To this meditator who arises in the unceasing play, grant your blessing so that I realize the inseparability of samsara and nirvana. You embody the gross and subtle channels, the doctors and dakinis, all root and lineage lamas, as well as the three jewels. O Karmapa, Kalyanti Rinpoche, and Mamatachi Juru, we implore you to bestow upon me the wisdom of bliss and emptiness. Throughout all my verse, may I not be separated from the perfect Lama, and so enjoy the splendor of the Dharma. Perfecting the virtues of the 5 paths and 10 bhumis, may I speedily attain the state of Vajradhara, my own innate natural state of awareness. So this prayer puts the whole shamanistic Lamaism of Tibetan Buddhism in perspective, because all of these lamas, men and women, have been around since Shakyamuni Buddha, and they culturally were uncountable in India, and many hundreds or thousands in Tibet. But now they're in the Western world and other countries. So now we have other cultures absorbing this direct path to enlightenment. And it's the only path that is the purpose. If one practices worldliness, for instance, shamanism, which takes refuge in gods and goddesses of religions, or other spirits, that's counterproductive to this tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. And as my teacher Lama Tenzin advised me when I asked him about this, when I lived on Maui, he says very simply, if you try to do both together, you're mixing the poison with the medicine. It won't work. And I notice a lot of people in Tibetan Buddhism are collecting power from other sources and other traditions. But why is that counterproductive? Is because they're not developing the insight of their natural state, which is called voidness, or their compassion for everybody else in doing that. Oh, so what are we doing? We're taking our body, speech, and mind, bringing it into one place skillfully, we call this skillful means, and developing together those three in a state of compassion, first of all, that this is all for the benefit of all other sentient beings filling the universe, as if they were all our mothers or children. Number two, developing insight into the true nature of voidness, which is the nature of our mind in the natural world. And then get powerful. Then get really healthy. Without that, the power will totally corrupt you and inflate your egocentric, dualistic fixation, which causes you to become emotionally involved with everything that you are sensing and everything that you're thinking. And all you have to do is check yourself, and you can see that what I just said is absolutely true. There isn't any thought or sensual perception that you don't have an emotional reaction to. It's either good or bad or neutral, which is nothing. And so it's easy to see that what the Lama says is true. Then with that information, you can abandon all of these worldly traditions of religion and other forms of shamanistic practice. That said, we're going to take refuge in the three roots and the three jewels of the Tibetan tradition. Now, the very first statement that we make is that this is for the benefit of all living beings, as if they were family, friends, mothers, and so forth. That's called the enlightened altruistic motivation. So just by saying that, you've entered into a state of enlightenment. In order to attain enlightenment, for ourselves and limitless sentient beings, our mother, we now all together take refuge and offer prostration. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy Lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams who are the deities gathered in our mandala. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered the mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. And we go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis who are the protectors and defenders of Dharma. All of these possessing the eye of transcending awareness. Now we communicate that in Sanskrit with all the spirits and cultures of the planet. Lama Dampa Lama Shamsu Shriya Yilao Joko Vilaso Lama Shamsu Shriya Tangye Jom Dende Lama Shamsu Shriya Dampe Lama Shamsu Shriya Then we chant the prayer of bodhicitta, which brings voidness and compassion together with the 6 bodhisattva disciplines. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this Supreme Assembly we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained from practicing these 6 perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. And then we chant that, communicate that in Sanskrit. Nam Jai Jodam Joti Jodam Jai Chu Bhagyu Dhammi Chaksu Dati Jin So Vipe Sonam Ki Jala and Chir Sanje Dupasho. The bodhisattva path is simply disciplining your mind and including in your worldly activity 6 disciplines, 6 qualities that are actually already in place in the human condition. And the first one is generosity. And this is towards oneself, others, and towards our environment, but it's practiced on 2 levels. Generosity on the ordinary level, which is giving, gifts and advice and so forth. And the ultimate level of sharing your true nature, your natural mind, and how to attain it with others. That's Tibetan Buddhism. The second is morality, ethics, and good manners included with our practices. Because without those 3 on the ordinary level, one tends to alienate others. But more importantly, these give you the code of the bodhisattva. And it boils down to simply not harming yourself, others, or the environment. Number 3 is patience extended to oneself and others. The patience in the ultimate sense is to do these practices to quickly attain maturity in this life or in the near future. Diligence means this is not just practice when you feel like it. You discipline your mind to do this daily. 3 times a day is recommended. Once is an absolute minimum. The 5th discipline is, as I said before, disciplining the mind so you can focus. Single-pointedly concentrate on one thing. And if you can do that, the next step is to focus on nothing whatsoever, which is your true nature. And that takes practice. Because we're so attached to what we think and what we sense. But more importantly, focusing, you have to use your mental process of visualizing, imagining. There's so many obstacles, so many distractions in today's world. It's almost impossible to do that without the skillful means of the Sutra and Tantra symbol practices. And finally, we come to the 6th discipline, which makes us extraordinary in gaining maturity, and that's directly connect to the state of voidness, which is the nature of the universe, like space, and the nature of your mind as your thoughts. And doing that, one frees themselves from the emotional preoccupation with the idea of the self, the idea of separation from everybody else, and the idea of ideas themselves. That makes it way too simple, this realization, because it is. It's your true nature. All sentient beings have this, but only humans can connect to it. So that makes our rebirth in the human condition very valuable. And if you're doing this with the help of the Lama, you can consider yourself extraordinary the moment you wake up. And extraordinary the moment you go to sleep, which is called little death in Tibet. So if you want to know what death's like, just go to sleep. So we practice. Now the simplest form of healing that we start with is to integrate the elemental energies or life force of the universe into our physical situation using what is called psychic energy for connection. It promotes healing, good wealth, good health, and wealth. So it's very positive. You sit with your back straight, your hands comfortable, your eyes focused to the space in front. I recommend arms length out. Mouth closed, tongue against the palate, head slightly tilted forward. And bring your awareness, we call focus, to your breathing. Now, lots of traditions use prana yoga as the basis of practice, for instance, in the Hindu Hatha yoga tradition. But in our tradition, we use what is called the three lights meditation practice. And this is so that we don't get caught in the state of peace and tranquility. And at the same time, bring energy for healing and wealth and good health into our present situation. And very simply, you imagine your inhale coming into your lungs as white light. Then you transform the energy of the element into red light pervading your body. That's the second breath. That's called the absorption breath.
It's okay.
Then the third visualized breath is called the exhalation, and it is simply to visualize blue light out your nose to space. Now, why these three color codes? Well, first of all, the white light is the actual life force energy of the universe. So you're inhaling that into your lungs. You do that all the time to stay alive. But the absorption of that has to be mentally, we say psychically, visualized. And so we do that with the red light passing through the body in a moment. We call that the absorption breath, the in-between the inhale and the exhale. So you have white light coming in, filling your lungs. Then you visualize the red light, the absorption breath, flashing through your body in a moment. And then you exhale and visualize blue light going out your nose to fill space. And the simplicity of this visualization is our cloudless sky. Inhale, white light, absorption breath, red light. Exhale, blue light to space. And how important is this breath of the three lights that all the Lamas teach? It's because all of the transmission of the Tibetan Buddhist method is through this color code, white, red, and blue, applied to your body, speech, and mind. I was fortunate enough to be able to practice this in a cave on the north shore of Oahu for 6 months. And when I got through with this practice, I could focus, and my visualization was quite strong. But I noticed that my emotional tendencies were not being controlled. And that's when I decided to find a teacher that could help with that. In any case, this three lights breathing, one should practice it until you can incorporate it into whatever worldly activities you do during the day. And if you're fortunate enough, in your dream state at night. Now, for our practical application tonight, we're going to use this for the healing energy of the 5 elements in our physical situation. To do that, you take your focus off the breathing. And in your mind, you visualize those 3 lights come together in the center of your chest. We call this the heart chakra. And in that chakra, you create with your visualization, with your mind, a tiny particle of light, which symbolizes the infinite light of space, boundless space. Then from that dimension, with your imagination, you increase that particle until you create a small bubble or sphere of clear light. And you do that to enter into this dimension. Then you gradually increase that small bubble of clear light until it approximates the symbol of one of the 5 elements. I'm going to show you the symbols that we use, but the one we're going to focus on tonight is the water element, which is this shaped blue sphere made of light. And that's in union with the earth element, the 6-sided gold cube, the fire element, which is a 4-sided pyramid with a base, the air element, which is symbolized by a half-sphere bowl with a lid of green light, and the space element, which is similar to the water element, of white, a white sphere. Any one of these will work, but in my situation, as I said before, I need a lot of the predominant element of water, with the other 4, of course, in union. So we're going to focus on this as being made of light, and you visualize or see it right in the center of your chest. And if you do chakra energy work, it's called the heart chakra. You label it water. Then with your imagination, you simply move it out in front of your chest and up before your eyes, 2 feet out. You visualize it there, right here, where the energy of space and light already exists. Then, with your imagination, you make it large enough so that you can visualize your physical form just as you are right now, sitting inside. So this blue sphere is out beyond your reach. Now, at each stage of this meditation, you can take as much time as you want. But tonight, we're going to move along with each stage. The next stage is to envision or visualize the blue sphere of water to be large enough to completely enclose your neighborhood or town, or like here on Kauai, our island inside. Complete with the surrounding ocean, air, earth, everything. Then you apply this energy patterning to Mother Earth and you include her atmosphere. So the blue sphere is enclosing the Earth. The next stage is to visualize it enclose the solar system, and you see the sun in the middle and all the planets inside. And the next stage is to expand it to completely enclose our disc-shaped, spiral-shaped galaxy. And then you move to the primordial state, which is beyond conception, of merging it with boundless space, the phenomenal universe. And when you do this, since you cannot conceptualize it, you simply relax and allow the full force of that energy healing pattern to pervade your stream of being. Just relax, stay present, and receive. And when you feel you've had enough of the primordial energy or life force of the universe, with your imagination, again enclose the galaxy with the blue sphere of light, water. And make it smaller to just enclose the solar system. Reduce it inside to just enclose Mother Earth. Keep your focus and your imagination together and visualize it to include your town or island where you live, your neighborhood. Then again, see your physical form receiving this healing energy of the blue water sphere around you, made of light. And again, return it to in front of your eyes, arm length in front. Bring it to chest level into your heart center. Keep your focus as you reduce it in size to the tiny clear light sphere. and keep reducing until it again assumes the particle, representing the totality of that dimension of space and light. We call that the natural state. And again, relax. And allow the energy of the microcosm to penetrate your stream of being. No meditation. Then return to your room by bringing your awareness to in front of your eyes and simply expand it into your space of practice. Whether it be this room or on a beach or wherever. That's it. How simple can it get? And you do that with whatever element you predominantly feel you need more of. They're all connected. They can't be separate. For instance, if you think you need more earth, then you use this six-sided cube and do this same step-by-step practice. Take it in the 6 stages out to the universe, the macrocosm. Relax. Bring it in 6 stages back into the heart, into the microcosm, and relax. Now this is called worldly practice. And it's called psychic healing energy practice because that's what it is. It's the power of your own consciousness together with your ability to focus and imagine that produces the result. And it works for kind of like symptomatic medicine, which is all of the healing traditions of the planet are totally symptomatic. First of all, you got to recognize you have a problem. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Then you or somebody else comes up with the remedy. Now that's called symptomatic medicine. Why? Because you're going to tell them, well, I have a headache and I want to get rid of it. But then they give you 2 aspirin and say, call me in the morning. Or something. Well, this is just like that. Only you don't have to buy the 2 aspirin. You do it. Now, all of Tibetan Buddhist practices are very similar to this practice. You don't need a transmission like you do for the deity yogas, which is the extraordinary level of healing. The difference between the symptomatic, which is all traditions, all religions, are totally symptomatic. And worse, they're superstitious. Okay? So some of them you got to believe it, but not out to lunch, because just belief alone doesn't work. You got to have a method. We're not believing, we're actualizing. That's what the word practice means, to actualize. Now, in the next level of practice, we go from this ordinary symptomatic approach, which gets really good results. In other words, we're transmitting this through Tibetan Buddhist students all over the world by the internet and other methods. Okay? And it's useful. And we're applying it to any kind of situation that requires a remedy, including sex. Well, yes, we have a whole thing about that too. It's taboo. But it works. So my point being is when you go to the next level of Tibetan Buddhism, you have to have the idea that everything is imaginary, like an illusion, like a mirage in the desert. Because it is. You can't find yourself. You go looking for yourself in your mind, you won't find it. You have all these ideas, oh, it's this toe, it's this head, it's this nose, it's this eye. Any compound aspect of being, there's no I there, there's no single entity. So the idea of the self is completely false. But worse than that, this idea of self causes dualistic fixation, which means you think because you exist that everything else is separate from you. And that causes war. To think that everything is separate is the main cause of war. So how do you deal with that? Take it out. Adapt the idea of unity. Everything is totally integrated into you. You're the cause of everything, so you'd be responsible for it all. And there's no such thing as an I in the first place. Now the next step is, if you're going to do the practice of the Tibetan Buddhist shamanistic, you have to abandon all the worldly shamanistic traditions, which are all about power. Why? Because those are symptomatic. And they lock you into emotionally rebirthing. It's called cyclic existence. They cause you to stay in this world. And I'm saying that because that's like taking the medicine and the poison together. So we make a choice. Like Lama Tenzin, my teacher in Maui, I was practicing tantric sex. Actually, I was teaching it. I had many disciples and girlfriends and so forth. It was fun. But I was also doing these Tibetan Buddhist practices. So I went to my teacher, Lama Tenzin, and he said, told him that Kachina was my consort at that time. What we were doing, he says, wow, that's wonderful. You're going to go to heaven. And I said, yeah, so what's wrong with that? He says, bodhisattvas don't go to heaven. Huh? Heaven is worldly existence. They're called the arrogant gods and goddesses of whatever religious tradition or shamanistic tradition. They're no better than hell realm, demonic beings. So we vow never to go to heaven. Well, I was raised Catholic. That was the whole purpose of Catholicism. Jesus, you and I, we're married, I'm coming. So when he told me that, I said, well, what do we do? And he says, well, you have to make a choice. You go to heaven or you be a bodhisattva. He says, if you're a bodhisattva, you'll never go to heaven. And you can tell that to all your friends and family and everybody else. So I do. I have a Baptist family and I have Catholic family. I just tell them when we all get together, I vow never to go to heaven. So right away, they don't have any discourse with me. So we can relax and have fun together. And it works. But most importantly, you must understand, a lot of people, especially here in Kauai, there's a lot of power energy sources here on this island. We have AELs, we have natural places of power, lots of spirit energy, lots of violence took place on this island and the other island. And a lot of people dig that. And then they want to do psychotropic drugs, like ayahuasca, acid, other stuff, to connect to these powerful spirit entities. No compassion, no insight, just collect. I want this one. Oh yeah, this one looks good. I'll try this. I'll go meditate here and just say, ooh. You don't understand spirit energy. Spirit energy is the cause of disease. It's the cause of ill health. It's the cause of mental distortions in your mind. Whether you can see the spirits or not, they exist. And they're in everything. They're in your body, they're everywhere. When you take some of these drugs or have near-death experiences or whatever power trip you're on and you're fooling with them, that's the poison. So when you do the practice of the Bodhisattva, never involve with worldly activities. So Kachina and I says, well, can we keep having this practice? And he said, yeah, but you gotta do it for the idea that you're gonna never go to heaven. Oh. Okay. So we did. And with his help and guidance, we eventually, we're still alive. We're both 78 years old. Healthy. She's a massage therapist. I'm sitting here with Abigail. Does that mean we're never going to get sick and die? No. Does that mean I'm never going to have pain? No. It just means I'm never going anywhere when I leave this body. I'm not going to heaven. I'm not going to hell. I'm not going to become, this is called a favorable animal existence. I'm not going into the deprived spirits. I'm not going to the war and war god realms, which everybody loves in America. They're our highest moneymaker. I'm definitely not going into the celestial realms by practicing Hinduism and other traditions. You must understand they are in conflict. You cannot do both. If you try to practice the absorption of power with the spiritual entities and that kind of shamanism, it is poison to the medicine of the Tibetan Buddhist Tantric and Sutra tradition. Right? Abby knows. Abby was 23 years practicing shamanism. You had a good teacher, big spiritual community, husband, wife, daughter, all doing wonderful things. But only suffering. Not very compassionate. Is it better now?
Oh, yeah.
I need a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to practice the Tibetan tradition. Now we're going to do basically the same thing that we did with the 3 lights to connect to the 5 elements. But I want to tell you that the symbols are as important as the teacher, because the symbol that the teacher gives you, that teacher is practicing that symbol, that method. So whatever the teacher trained you in, that teacher is doing it. So it's not hearsay, it's not dogmatic. Okay, and it looks like this. This is a little thing. This is a symbol kid gave me. In the middle, clear. Out here, colorful. This is your natural mind here. This is your thoughts. This is what we call ordinary mind, the drama mind. Are they separate? No. One is incorporated in the other. The difference in our tradition of humans is we're all stuck out here. We don't get to this state of clarity, which is what we call Mahamudra. That's your natural mind. We're all attached egocentrically to this. But this is where you want to be. So when we do these practices, it's a symbol of this, but it goes into your thinking. So you start to blend these 2 states. Very cool. If I hold this up to the light like this, everything gets really colorful. Don't be attached to colors. 3 color codes, white, red, and blue. Same as the breathing, the prana yoga practice. But we're going to add 3 sounds that do not exist in this dimension of emotionality. The first one is Om, which is practiced in many traditions, but that symbolizes the life force, healing energy of the natural world. Om. then the ah is the energy of that life force for you. It's kind of like collecting power, but now you've got the insight and you took refuge, so you have the compassion there. And then this is the sharing of these two, which you integrate into your situation, only to benefit others. We call it the medicine booth. And it's not symptomatic. Why? Because now we're treating the cause of the disease, which is the very emotionally preoccupied, wonderful me. From all the top of worldly leaders down to the lowest individual on the planet, the most poor and downtrodden, it's the same. It's the same me. So you want to treat the cause. And the cause is emotionality itself. And so this one is based on attachment. This one is based on desire. And this one is based on insight. This one is based on compassion, power, which is what energy is all about, which is what all our shamanism wants. Oh, we want to be powerful. And insight, how to use it. How to use it benefit others, how to use it benefit your mind. Okay, so Om, Ah, and Hum. Sit with your back straight. If you can sit in the lotus, good. But it's most important to have the back straight and head slightly tilted, hands in a comfortable position, on your knees or in your lap. Eyes softly gaze to the space and light energy program directly in front of you. Get that coming in. And mouth closed with the tongue resting against the palate. Unless you can't breathe through your nose, then mouth partially open. Then again, start with the three lights breathing, only this time we're going to add those three sounds. So you inhale the white light of the elements, air and so forth, into your lungs. Visualize that. At the same time, hear the sound Om. Through the absorption breath, passing the energy through your body in an instant, the red light, hear the sound Ah. And then the sharing breath of those two together going out your nose to space, Hum. Inhale, white light, Om. Absorption breath through the body, Ah. The sharing breath of healing energy to space, Hum. Now, just like you practice the three lights breath, you practice this one so you can do it any place, anytime. I'll give you a good example. Yesterday I went to the gym, Abby and I. Working out on the equipment, as I did the extension move, I visualized white light, Om. Then, the moment I was in full tension, the Ah, the red light passing through the body, Ah. And then when I returned to the original position, Hum, blue light going everywhere. In this case, blasting through the gym, which is kind of cool. I'll just give you this as an example. By doing these three lights with these three sounds, You're incorporating compassion, power, and insight together into your three modes of being: your body, your voice, speech, and your mind, how you think. Now, as I said before, this is the transmission process of the Tibetan Lamas. So you visualize the Lama in front. Any Lama will do, man or woman. Dalai Lama, or anyone that you receive teachings from. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. And you place that Lama in a light body in front of you. In other words, not solid like you are, but kind of like a hologram. Life-size, sitting in front of you, facing you. And then you continue the three lights breathing of the Om, Ah, and Hum. Then you take your visualization, your focus off your breath, and see white light come from the Lama's head to your head. This is called the base empowerment or transmission for your body. Then you see red light coming from the Lama's throat. This is the energy of your body's new energy program expressed through your voice, useful for mantra, prayer, and advice. Then you see blue light from the Lama's heart chakra to your heart chakra. This is called the wisdom transmission of the state of Mahamudra. Insight into your true nature and how to use it. When you can see all three lights shining simultaneously into you, merge the Lama's form into you. Disappear it into your body. And receive the transmission by identifying the three lights, Om, Ah, Hum, inside your body in the central channel of your life force, which runs from the top of your head to the bottom of your body. And you visualize the white Om sphere in your head, the red Ah sphere in your throat, and the blue Hum sphere in your heart. You learn to write these three symbols. We actually have coloring books of these various symbols for kids in our Maui Dharma Center. This is the Sanskrit Om in Tibetan. This is the Ah, and this is the Hum. Now, once you have these visualized inside your body, you want to bring them all into your heart chakra. So the transmission sound Om for the body moves down into the speech empowerment Ah. And the red Ah and the Om together move down into the blue Hum sphere in your heart. Now you've brought these three energy patternings into your heart mind of compassion. Then focusing on that Hum in the dark blue sphere of light, do what you did before, contract it to a particle of light, and rest in basic space. The dimension of infinite potential. Which is characterized by our phenomenal world. Then again, focus on the particle and bring it to a small sphere to enter from that dimension into this three-dimensional world. Then increase the size of that small clear light sphere until you create a blue sphere in your heart with the sound TAM, T-A-M. And this sound is all of these three in one. But now the five elements become the five Tara of Tibetan Buddhism. And now you're moving into a dimension of being that's not symptomatic. It appears symptomatic because you're dealing with your emotional program. But it deals with the cause of those emotional energies arising with your thinking, which is what they do. You made that habit. So this is the antidote to that. And in this case, the Tara, she's called the mother of the outer world. The mother principle that all creation is the mother principle. So the solar system, the galaxy, the sun, this planet, moon, everything. Mother. Creation. So that takes out all the patriarchic religions in the world, tosses them in the garbage can. And you women got to appreciate that. So when you do this practice, you've already taken refuge. Now the tongue looks like the letter 5 with a dot over it. But remember when we did the 5 elements, we did the water, the blue one, this one. We're going to do blue Tara, this color. And she's this deity, this symbol. You're going to take this on, color code, but you're going to color it blue, just like your chest, entirely. And you're going to put this seed syllable,
The bomb.
excuse me, the mom in the center. Looks like a 21 with a dot over it. Okay? 2, 1, dot. This is M in Tibetan Buddhism. The dot. Right, Ringo? So you visualize this blue 21 in the center of your heart, and it is all 3 of these in one symbol, but it is the creation sound of the blue Tara. Okay, now this is called the Path of Skillful Means, or Sutra or Tantric Deity Yoga. And if you visualize this energy program, it's all pervasive. So that means this sound includes everything in the universe, inside, outside, no separate. This sound mom, but it incorporates the principle of the elements as the water, 5 elements, just like we did with the ordinary practice. Except that you are now a bodhisattva, never to go to heaven. Oh. And you're in female form, so all the guys are going, wow. Now this Tara with this symbol has an energy pattern, just like everything does, like atoms, crystals, and it looks like this. This is the outside energy patterning, and this is the inside energy patterning. And it looks like, kind of like snowflake. No, every snowflake is different. Kind of like that, but very symbolic. It's got all kinds of energy sounds in various dimensions within this sphere. This is not a circle, this is a sphere. And I'm just showing you because what you're doing with this tom is you're repatterning your body. And in doing that, you remove the dense patterning and the blockages you put there with your emotional garbage program from birth. And that emotional garbage program is conditional. You didn't start that. They did. Who's they? Mom, dad, friends, relatives, teachers, spirits, animals. That's why it's called condition. You've been conditioned to think emotionally. The tip. Oh, I have to have it. If I don't get it. So attachment and aversion is right away with mom giving you milk. See? Then it just takes off from there. You get a little bit bigger, a little bit older, more and more and more, a little bit bigger. And everybody's idea of how you should be pushed into you. You're screwed. The I just is like, oh. So what I did at age 14 is ran away. I was a very rich kid with doctor father, and my mother was a nurse. But very rich, very wealthy, high status, all that, best of everything. Spoiled to the max. But somehow, some way, whatever I'd done in the past life caused me to say, this isn't who I am. And the Catholic Church was on one side, my mom was an atheist on the other side, so I'm getting dragged in two directions. I love both my parents, and they loved each other, but this one's been this way, and this one's this way. Whew. So I just left. And here I am today. That doesn't mean I'm still not loving my mother and father and friends. Of course you do. So when you do these practices, you have to have a sense of humor. And it's about this conditioning. Okay? It wasn't your program. Their program. Now you want to break it. Now you want to do it. Your program. And you want to do it without depending on worldly spirits and all that power tripping stuff. So you just be the Tara with all the qualities of compassion, power, and insight, blended into you as a light body of the Tara, looks like this. Okay? On this Tonka, it's the bottom two symbols. Those are Tara symbols. We're like this. This is called space Tara, white Tara. But whatever Tara we're going to use, which tonight is the blue Tara, you must understand that you have 21 qualities. Your mother's. The mother principle of the human condition has 21 qualities. So I'm going to just read quickly what some of those are. If you say Tara is wisdom, that means you understand that there's no such thing as an I. So your natural mind takes over. Okay, so you design this light body, which represents that. And she's sitting with one leg extended, ready to go into action. But it's more than that, because not only does she have wisdom, she also has compassion. That's why you took refuge. Compassion doesn't work in worldly situations. Compassion is an ultimate nature of consciousness itself that you apply to worldly situations. It's impartial. So the mother has many kids. The true mother is impartial to every one of those kids, how she loves them and takes care of them, right?
Did you kind of say that again about compassion is not of this world, but you bring it into this world?
There's no altruistic compassion on this planet. Not in any social program. Not in any other form of what we call shamanism or religious practice. None. Oh yes, I really care about those Africans starving to death by the millions. I really care about that. That's compassion. You can't do a damn thing about it. That's called wimpy compassion. Yes, you care about it. What are you going to do about it? Are those in your compassion? Are one of those men, women, and children that are going to die of famine and drought tomorrow by the millions? That's what's going on right now on this planet, in Africa, Syria, and other places. You can't do anything. So you adopt the idea that it's illusory and apply your heart that if you could, you would. See that they all survive. That's called altruistic event. You don't leave anybody out. How good, like heads of our countries, military. I see them as the Dalai Lama, these jerks. You know? You have to see them in their wisdom nature. If you see them as they are, you come up with this idea of judging. Oh, bad, very evil. Yeah, they're suffering more than you are. Everybody you see on your iPhone and on your computer and on the TV, you know they're suffering more than you are. Compassion is not to increase their suffering. Oh, that's a novel idea. So that's Tara's compassion. Why cannot you involve yourself in these situations is because of the emotional energy program of those situations. You'll be in conditioned existence. They'll all be laying their trip on you. Are you strong enough to take that? Well, you haven't been so far. I mean, look at your own family. They drive you up the wall. Well, not my family. This is Tara over here in my head. Compassion, power, and insight is Tara. But she's also swift protection, which means she's protecting you from your own egocentric involvement with, I'm so wonderful. Me. My body, my food, my clothes, my car, my house, my friends, my job. It never ends. It's my. Then you go out and go on a power trip. I'm going to go hang out here and get a lot of power from these spiritual entities. Next thing you know, you're all screwed up and going crazy and sad and bewildered. And yuck! That's not Tara. That's not who you really are. Creative wisdom means you take your insight and apply it to the benefit of others to alleviate their suffering and bring them to maturity, equal to Tara. Tara's a bodhisattva. Nobody's a bodhisattva. Do you know any bodhisattvas? No. In your game, they don't exist. You are. Now, the only way they're going to exist in your game is if you project they are. So, like, I take the President of the United States and see him as the Dalai Lama or Tara. That's a stretch. The lying jerk. See, I just made a judgment.
You just had to say that, didn't you?
I had to. Well, Time Magazine, I'm quoting. Tara is all victorious. That means whatever you endeavor to do, you accomplish. Sublime intelligence means you take your true nature and apply it to your thoughts and how you sense things. You realize that everything is worthy of compassion, but at the same time it doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, why are you emotionally preoccupied with it? You've got to drive that one home. The Tara is just an illusory body. It's a figment of your imagination, this Tara. But she has these qualities because you say she does. And there's 21 of these. If I read them all, you're going to go, wow, I didn't know I was that great. So now we do the practice. So this Tara, blue color. It's important to connect to the, what we call the all-pervasiveness of the universe. That's called the bindu, or seed sultan. This goes in the heart. It has 5 colors of light around it, indicating the 5 elements and the 5 states of insight are its nature. Then you see yourself as Tara. So you see her with silks and jewels, 6 kinds. That's the 6 bodhisattva practices.
It's hard to see that symbol.
This symbol? The mom, M-A-M?
Yeah,
Oh,
because the other one's...
throw it away. Just think mom. Blue. We're going to blue. Blue, light. Okay, so now you're beautiful, young, clear complexion. 3 eyes, you have your imagination, your focus going. Wearing 6 kinds of jewels, 5 colors of silk, scantily dressed, you don't need a lot of stuff. Right hand in generosity, left hand holding the lotus of compassion by your left ear, which you can see that symbol. And you apply it to your Lama, because this deity All the lamas of Tibetan Buddhists practice Tara every day. Tara and Chenrezig, this deity right here. Momani Pemi Hum, Om Tara Tutari Tui Som. Those two have compromised 1,000 deities. You bring them all together and you go to maturity. That's what this is. This is the maturity symbolizing union as an antidote to the worst affliction that we have, which is anger. Anger causes the most problem. The cause of cancer is anger. Get rid of it and you get rid of the cancer. You can go through all those symbols that are horrible in allopathic medicine. You get tortured to death, but it won't treat the cause. So this is treating the cause. Then you become Tara. So you focus a lot on you, three-dimensional, clear-light, beautiful, young, sitting on a lotus sun and moon seat. Light rays shooting through you from the seats all through you out to space, benefiting others. Then you put your mom in front, create her as the Tara. Illusory body now, not solid and fixed like this. That's an illusory body. This is an actual body. That's imaginary. This is the actual. Get it? Illusory body. Illusory is the nature of everything. Then, mom, dad, friends, everybody that conditioned you, all these people you have karma with, change them into Tara. Then all the animals in the ocean, on the land, in your body. And all of the humans on this planet, 7.5 billion ordinary beings, all suffering, changed to Tara. And all of the spirit world filling space. So in your mind, infinite Taras are generated from your imagination. And you pattern this universe as a mandala of that Bodhisattva Tara. That causes the heart mantra to appear. There's no other reason for this mantra. Om Tara, Tutari, Turi, Mam, Om, Soha. 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 Om Tara, Tutari, Turi, Mam, Om. Try this under. No. Om Tara, Tutari, Turi, Mam, Om, Soha. 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 Om Tara, Tutari, to Om, Om, So, Ha. So that brings all 21 qualities together in the center of your heart with those mandala mantra sounds circling the seed syllable Mom. Each color of the mantra, each syllable is a different color. The Mom is blue, and all of that sends radiant energy through thousands of channels through your body. You're repatterning your situation, and it escapes as healing energy for whoever needs it, which are all the beings, infinite in number, in your mandala. And you say the mantra, visualize that energy and the Mom through you and out to space. And everybody in your mandala is doing exactly the same thing you are. Om Tara Tutare Ture Mam Om Soha. 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 Now Tara has one foot extended, ready to go into action. The right foot. Me, I got both feet, so I'm really ready. Om Tara Tutare Ture Mam Om Soha. 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 You say this mantra, visualizing yourself and all beings as Tara in the illusory body form, and the seed syllable Mom connects you to the infinite potential of space itself. And the water element is the healing energy invoked by coloring blue. And then you fill your mind with these taras, all sentient beings. This is called impartially applied compassion. No one left out. You say this mantra at least 100,000 times with that visualization until you can't get it out of your head. Om Tara Tutare Ture Mam Om Soha. 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 Now that's both of these in one practice. So the heart energy of voidness is the illusory body of the Tara. The patterning in your mind's thinking process and sensual process is this color code. And this color code is software. Your mind is a computer. And as it goes in there, it takes out all of that dense emotional patterning. Replaces it. The more you say the mantra, the more you focus on the Tara and the mandala the lighter you get. It deals with the cause, not the symptom. Om Tara Tutare Ture Ma Om Shoah. 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 This first stage of tantric practice, you as the deity, is called the creation stage. And it's the first of 5 energy programs applied to your situation. Where you're creating in your mind this method. Then, since you're applying it to everybody, you move into the destroying age, that everything is separate. You destroy that idea. Everything is actually in union. That's this Buddha. Then once it's in union, you go to the clearing stage of light and space is the nature of your mind and the universe. Then you go to the healing and wealth stage by it's all equal, nothing superior, supreme, divine, or supernatural. Cancel all that. Equal. No high, no low. No pride, no arrogance. And finally you come to the stage of the, we call discerning awareness. Which is more beneficial? The drama game or your natural mind? Knowledge and insight. And you bring all the sentient beings in your mandala, infinite in number, streaming into you like rain into a lake. Then you disappear your Tara illusory body into the mantra in your heart. Then you visualize all the syllables of the mantra disappear into the seed syllable, Mom, the blue Mom. And it, surrounded by a 5-colored light, disappears into space. You don't need to contract this one. Just blend it with the space of the natural world. No meditation. Relax. This is called the completion stage of tantric practice. No meditation. Simply develop presence, timelessness. No judgment. Whatever thoughts arise, their nature is light. You can relax. No good or bad here. No friends or enemies. No past or future. No inside or outside. Relax. Your primary source of compassion, power, and insight is the Lama. The deities are only to bring that into your present situation. So we read the first page 1. Glorious and precious root Lama, residing on a lotus sun and moon seat on my head, with your immense kindness, please care for me and impart the realization of body, speech, and mind. Om, Ah, Om. Homage. I and all beings respectfully take refuge in the infinite aspects of the 3 jewels and 3 roots. We practice this profound path of Guru Yoga so that all beings may realize enlightenment. Then we say this mantra, Om Subhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Subhava Shuddha Om. That means everything that you can think of or sense is nothing whatsoever but a state of space and light called voidness. The next page. Within this expanse of voidness in the space just before me on a lion throne, lotus sun, and moon seat is my Lama as Vajradhara. Now we did the Lama as Tara tonight, which is an emanation of the Lama. Embodiment of the 3 roots. She's blue like the sky, holds a Vajra and bell in his hand. Fully arrayed in fine silks and jewels, he sits in Vajra posture. His consort, he is joined inseparably with his consort, the natural luminous splendor of space. The light from his heart invokes the 3 roots and 3 jewels, which descend like rain and dissolve into him. In his nature, all are united. That means there's no such thing as separation. I and all others imagine our forms multiplied as many times as there are atoms in the universe. That was the Tara fact. Each of these forms bowing with respect before you, Lama, embodiment of all sources of refuge. Clouds of limitless offerings, outer, inner, secret, expand to all universe. We offer this to you with intense regret. We reveal all our negative, obscuring acts, faults, and downfalls perpetuated since the beginning of the sun, and we resolve to avoid their repetition. We rejoice and delight in all virtuous action, be it conditional or unconditional, of samsara or nirvana. For the sake of all beings, our aged mothers who wander in darkness, please set ablaze the torch of the vast and profound teachings until all beings have attained your unsurpassable realization. Please remain immutable like the Vajra in your manifest form. And to all beings we dedicate all the virtue of the three times. May we all together attain the state of Vajradhara. Then we're going to do, skip the rest and go to the dedication prayer towards the back. Which I think it starts about 4 pages in from the back. Yeah. It says homage to the Lama at the top. Homage to the Lama, you lovingly care for all who have with you deep connections of karma and aspiration. You stir to the very depths this ocean of suffering that is cyclic existence, and are the great chariot that conveys us on the path of freedom and lasting happiness. Your kindness can never be repaid. Lama, consider us. You stop the beginning of the stream of karma, disturbing emotions and confusion. You turn us away from the path of cyclic existence through establishing the 3 disciplines. You unite our minds with the Dharma through your maturing and liberating instruction. Even the most supreme guides, you are the sovereign. Lama, consider us. The flames of your wisdom consume the jungle of ignorance. You directly reveal the true face of Dharmakaya, awareness in itself, and place us in this very life in the royal domain of non-dual union. All-pervading Lord, Master of all enlightened aspects, Lama, consider us. Noble Lama, Sovereign of infinite mandalas, Noble Lama, Bestower of all accomplishments without exception, Noble Lama, Source of all that is necessary or desirable, from the depths of our hearts we pray to you. Grant your blessing that I and all beings of the 6 realms, my aged mothers, may quickly liberated from this swamp of pain and misery that is cyclic existence. May we, inseparable from the state of relinquishment and realization of the ocean of the accomplished Kagyu masters, and may our minds merge with yours. This is absolutely necessary to get Buddhism. And like I said before, if you've seen one Lama, you've seen them all. It just that happened to be an interpreter. You know, it's like having a guide when you go into Africa, wild elephants and stuff. You need an interpreter. So you have one. But I represent all the Lamas of all the lineages without exception. Every Lama has his own trick. Every Lama has his own lineage. But every Lama teaches the 3 aspects of your being, body, speech, and mind, must come together in compassion, power, and insight. It doesn't matter what deity you use, or what protector, or what teacher. That's the basis of it all. You can explain it that way to anybody. If you say Dalai Lama, he's pretty cool. I mean, I've been right up front with him. No mind. I couldn't even say anything. And he's laughing and carrying on. And now we'll do the dedication prayer on the refuge sheet, which is how we end our practice. We start with prostration, And we end with dedicating this to all sentient beings. By the virtue of having realized Mahamudra, now I quickly establish all beings without a single exception in this state. Through the blessing of the Buddha who obtained the three bodies, through the blessing of the unchanging truth of the Dharma, and through the blessing of the unwavering aspirations of the Sangha, may this dedication prayer be fulfilled. Now, before we do the Sanskrit rendition, is there anything about that you don't understand? The three bodies of a Buddha is your body, speech, and mind. Those are called the vehicles. Okay?
Is that the same as the three kaya?
Yeah. Oma and Hum. So they say three bodies. The body of the body itself, the body of the speech, which is transmission, and the body of your natural mind, which is called Dharmakaya, infinite potential. Those three. When you say Buddha, that means maturity. It's a word that indicates that a human, man or woman, no further you can go. You're in this timeless existence, no problem. Happiness is never interrupted. That's pretty desirable. Then when it says, the unchanging truth of the Dharma means that your natural mind never changes. Space doesn't change. Space never changes. The projections that appear in space change, earth, water, fire, air. The space, like your consciousness, no beginning, no middle, no end. You have to accept that. Otherwise, you're always caught. Oh, where does all this end? Where do I get out of it? You know, like a kid. And then the Sangha, that's us. We're the ones doing the practice. We're the ones following the Lama's teaching. We're the ones upholding the tradition. See? And not for praise or blame, not for fame and disgrace, not for pleasure or pain, not for wealth or loss, say gain and loss, not for friends and enemies, and especially not for judging everything good and bad. That's the key. Oh, I like that, so it's good. Oh, I don't like that, so it's bad. I do that with long range, and you go, hey, I like that. You can't say much English, but you can really make the word. Right. Devadi Nirduda Chagya Champo Drupirne Goa Chichen Malupa Te Sala Koparsho Sanjay Kusum Nempai Jamata Shoni Meta Dempai Jamata Tendu Miche Dumpai Jamati Itar Goma Moma Drupa. And I want to announce that Lama Temple is going to be coming to Kauai this month, around the middle of the month, to empower the Tara statue, which is behind the stupa. And any help or assistance that you can give, we'll announce it. Abby will put it out. But he'll probably be here for 2 or 3 days doing that. So that's a biggie. And also we're going to have a nice Dharma stand made for